that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
Hey guys, how you doing today? Whew, she's a windy one today. Oh man. Anyway, yeah, just look at those trees. Whoa. Anyway, hey, let's go for a walk. All right. So I've been asked to give my opinion. And, well, that is what this channel is about. But I try not to give too many opinions. It's kind of like when the elections and stuff were happening, people were asking me, oh, well, who should I vote for? That's not what I do. As much as this channel is about my opinion, yes, that is accurate. But it's my opinion to give you another insight into forming your own opinion. But I think this one's important. Someone asked me the other day in one of the comments. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. But someone asked me the other day in the comments, they said, now that the Emergencies Act Commission is over with, what is your opinion on the Emergency Act? And what do you think the consequences will be? Wow. All right. That's actually a really, really good question. So kudos to you. I'm sorry, I should have looked it up, saw what your name was. But we all know how I am with names. I would have forgot it 2 seconds after I looked it up. Anyway, what do I think about the Emergencies Commission? I think it was enlightening. I think it was important to a degree. I also think it was useless to a degree. I know that's contradictory, but I think it's true. Because people have, you've also asked, what do I think the consequences will be? There won't be any. I said this before. I said it when before the Emergencies Act Commission even started. There's going to be no consequences to this, because that's not what the commission was there to do. The commission was there to see if the government was justified and to offer suggestions on how to improve, not what are the consequences, because there are no consequences. That's why it was so easy to invoke it, because there's no consequences. I think that the Liberal Party should be really reflecting on themselves, especially as they go on and tout about democracies, on whether there should be consequences. But we've all seen this Prime Minister tout the ethics of Parliament and the ethics of government on numerous occasions to no punishment. We'll just use the one example of going to the Aga Khan Island and receiving gifts. That's illegal in a democracy. And yet Prime Minister Trudeau did that his first year in office. His first year as a Prime Minister. And here we are, 7 years later, and he's still in office. So there's no consequences. Let's not delude ourselves here. Okay? The only consequences is when the Canadian public turns around and says, enough of this shit. Are we at that point? I don't know. The hatred towards the convoy from the supporters of Trudeau cannot get beyond their support for Trudeau to actually see the grievances that were being stated and shown to the public. They can't get beyond the convoy honking its horn to hear that the government overstepped its power. So, will there be consequences? I can hope at the next election there will be. As far as, will there be consequences because of the Commission? No. Canadians tuned out. Canadians didn't care. They've already picked their sides as far as the Emergency Act goes. It's a shame. It's a shame that our government can act like a dictator and we're accepting of that. I think that's a sham. How do I think the Commission will rule on this? Well, that's a tough question as well. You see, Mr. Rouleau is a judge. So rule of law should be paramount in his mind. But you see, Mr. Rouleau, before he was a judge, was a liberal backer, a liberal supporter. He was appointed by liberals. His whole career is based on the liberals. So do I think he's going to rule against Trudeau? No. Do I think he's going to try and make it sound like he's ruling against Trudeau? God damn, yeah. There's only one question when it comes to his decision, what he's going to do. Is what's more important to him? The liberal brand or the law? That's kind of an important question. It's an important question for all Canadians. Is the law a higher paramount than our political ambitions? Canada's lost its way. Everything that's going on in this country is about political ambitions. It's not about whether truckers honk their horn too long. It's not about whether Canadians occupied Ottawa. It's about our government. It's about what kind of country do we want. It seems like the more we look at this and the more we examine the invocation of the Emergencies Act, which I'll be 100% honest, I didn't even know existed until it was enacted. The more we look at it and the more we see it, the more we realize we're no longer free in Canada. So how do we deal with this? That's the better question. How do we move forward on this? How do we regain the freedoms of Canada again? Well, we have, in a way, because of honking our horns, gained freedoms. Because all the mandates have been finally dropped. They're dropped because Trudeau knew he wouldn't win in court, so he dropped them so he could get the court cases thrown out. That's a manipulation of our systems. How do we correct that? How can the government get a court case dismissed because they dropped the rule that the court case is about? That's not a rule of law. That's manipulation of law. When Trudeau comes out and tells you, oh, well, I have a different definition of the Emergencies Act, that's not rule of law. That's manipulation of law. The Canadian Charter says everyone's a free citizen based under the rule of law in an unreasonable No, I'm getting this confused. Excuse me. My brain, my fingers are frozen, my brain not working. Everyone's entitled to be a free citizen under the rule of law in Canada, as long as those laws are just and right in a democratic society. When is it undemocratic to stand up and tell your government they're wrong? Welcome to the Fringe.